So if you've been a car audio nut for as long as I have, and I know many of you have, it means something when we get into this category and we get to talk about a legendary brand such as Rockford Fosgate. Today, we've got Eric Russell in the studio with us, and we're going to dive deep into some of the technologies, the pedigree, the heritage, the innovations that have brought this iconic brand to the offering it currently has today. This is CMA Networks, brought to you by SiriusXM, Rockford Fosgate, and it starts now. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another session here, this time about car audio on CMA Networks, brought to you by SiriusXM. I am your host, Ben Wu, and we are digging deep into one of the most legendary brands that exist within the car audio space. Of course, I'm talking about Rockford Fosgate. Eric, so much to cover, especially when we were preparing for this episode. Didn't know how we wanted to kind of structure it, but I'm really happy that I think we've got one hell of a session for dealers tuning in. Can you give us a breakdown of what we're going to be covering today?
Well, you sure can, Ben. Now, with over 40 years in the audio industry, we've been developing purpose-built products designed for car audio systems to sound great. We're going to be covering some deep info, talking about amplifiers, loaded enclosures, subwoofers, and speakers. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right on?
Well, Eric, I literally cannot wait to dig in. But first, we have to give an opportunity for our best sponsor, SiriusXM, to remind our dealers why they love it. But when we come back, get your notepads out, guys. We are digging deep into Rockford Fosgate car audio.
Hey guys, Ricky Lima here from SiriusXM. I had a chance to speak to some dealers and ask them what they love about selling SiriusXM. Here's what they had to say.
Coast-to-coast coverage.
I love SiriusXM for commercial-free music.
It's a great add-on sale and a profit opportunity.
We love selling SiriusXM because you can listen to the same channel coast to coast.
Profitability and ease of installation. It's a no-brainer.
We love selling SiriusXM for its ease of installation, great profitability, and its reliability.
People love it.
All right, folks, no time to waste. Eric, so many places where we could start, but I feel like when you think about Rockford Fosgate, the amplifier category is a critical one because so much innovation went into this that was developed from Rockford Fosgate. I'm curious to see how much of that original innovation has kind of spilled through down the generations, evolved into what it is today, and what the offering is right now based on all these features and technology that Rockford Fosgate is so well known for.
Well, you're right, Ben. And amplifiers is where Rockford Fosgate started off. In the early 70s, Jim Fosgate was developing amplifiers for the car audio industry. And then in 1980, Rockford Corporation bought the company from Jim Fosgate, and we have expanded into multi-generations of amplifiers. We have a good, better, best, a prime, a punch, and a power series. And I'm going to be talking to you about 5 major technologies that are in Rockford Fosgate amplifiers throughout the line. The first one is clean. This is a patented technology utilizing LED systems so that you can easily set the amplifier gains. It's as accurate as an oscilloscope. It's basically a $200 meter that's built right into many of our amplifiers. Now check it out. Our RF Connect app is also going to be generating tones so that you can do 0, -5, -10, and -15 dB worth of gain overlap directly from your mobile device. That's a companion for the clean built-in circuit. Now, another feature of Rockford Fosgate amplifiers is constant power. Now, this is another patented technology. It's instantaneous delivery of output power over varying impedances. So that's very technical, but what it means is the amplifier monitors the speaker load to determine how much power it should produce. Now, think of this as cruise control for your car, right? If you're going up a hill without cruise control, you'll probably slow to a stop. But when you have cruise control activated on your car, as you drive up that hill, it will start to sense that you're slowing down. It will depress the accelerator so that you can continue making it to the top of the hill. That's what constant power does for amplifiers. It looks at high and low impedance dynamics of your speaker load, and then it just tells the amplifier how much power it should be delivering to those speakers. Now, another technology is our famous unregulated power supply. Now, professionals call this a very loosely regulated, but in essence, it's basically what made Rockford Fosgate amplifiers famous. It produces more power than what you're bargaining for. So as voltage increases, output power increases as well. So we're not just saying this, we're utilizing industry standards. So this is based on CTA 2006 industry standards, and we produce a continuous power output number and a dynamic power output number. Now the continuous power output is a sine wave generated into the amplifier, and it's using a fixed resistive load, and that's how we determine how much continuous power output. Now dynamic power, on the other hand, this isn't new. We started releasing this back when the IHF 202 standard was developed. So early Punch 200 DSM amplifiers actually had dynamic power in the owner's manual. I know because I wrote them. Dynamic power utilizes a music signal and looks at a reactive speaker load to determine how much power it can produce. Now, another technology is dynamic thermal management, or DTM. Now, what this does is it effectively distributes heat across the entire heat sink, so you don't get hot and cold spots. So it's basically a little computer control that tells what power devices to ramp up or ramp down, so that way it can distribute power across the heat sink equally. Now, talk about legendary circuitry in Rockford Fosgate. I'm going to be talking about punch EQ and punch bass. That's right. A derivative of Jim Fosgate's original circuitry called frequency energizer is in many amplifiers that you can buy today. Now, the original frequency energizer was an acoustical compensation for the automotive environment. So there was a bass level and a high frequency level. So the bass was 45 hertz, 0 to 18 dB worth of variable gain. And then the high frequency restored 0 to 12 dB worth at 12 kilohertz. So what this helped do is restore the acoustics that the environment of the automotive interior took away. Now, nearly every Rockford Fosgate Punch and Power Series amplifier has one form of these technologies available. And there you have it, Rockford Fosgate amplifiers, continuing the tradition that Jim Fosgate set so many years ago.
Well, Eric, you just confirmed my suspicions, and that is technology, going all the way back to Jim Fosgate's original circuitry still exists in some form or another, or like you said, a derivative of. Let's take a look at some closer examples of today's offering in amplifiers to see what this is all about.
That's right, Ben. We've got two amplifiers to talk about today, a Punch Series 5-channel amplifier and our big Power Series 2501 BDCP. So let's take a look at them now. The top amplifier is our all-in-one 5-channel inclusive amplifier. It features built-in clean technology that we talked earlier about, so it allows you to set your gains easily using a test tone. No more wondering about how much voltage or what type of signal to look for. The clean circuit helps you effectively set the gain control just using LED meters. Now, this amplifier also has high-level and low-level inputs. As you can see, it features RCA, but those RCAs can afford up to 16 volts of high-voltage input from a factory source unit. So there's no need for a line output converter. You just drive the signal right into the amplifier, it converts it for you, and it'll turn the amplifier on. So I love this all-in-one 5-channel amplifier. It's a great amplifier for one system. It'll drive your front, rears, and subwoofer. It's an amazing amplifier. Now, jumping on down to the below, the 2501 BDCP. Now, this is a legendary amplifier that has been in production for many years. And a lot of people ask, well, why don't you build a new one? Why change perfection? That's what we say. The amplifier is an enormous amplifier for the amount of size. Power output is rated at 2,500 watts. You'll easily see a punch verification certificate that comes out of the box right around 3,000 watts. Customers that aren't aware of this amplifier are blown away by how much power it produces. So we actually have two generations of this. We have the normal BD amplifier and then the newer BDCP. And that amplifier PVC shows you how much more power you're getting out of the constant power technology. That is a patented circuit that we use to analyze the impedance of the speaker system, so that way we can develop the optimum power output for the amplifier. The BD 2501 BDCP, it's an amazing amplifier. It's been on the market for years and will continue to be so years coming forward.
You know, at the top of this conversation, Eric, I said I didn't know where we wanted to start. So I'm happy we went through the amplifiers. Very impressive, awesome technology. But another thing that really is signature when it comes to Rockford Fosgate, if you think about, is really the subwoofer range. And I can already see that you have something pretty impressive that you're going to go over today. So please, Eric, tell us all about Rockford Fosgate subwoofers.
Well, if you were a kid like me growing up, when car audio started becoming big, you heard of and you saw the Punch. That was a legendary subwoofer. Then we came out with the Power Series subwoofer. So we had a good and better and best series, rounding out the technology. So here we have our biggest and baddest subwoofer, the T3 19-inch subwoofer. It's rated at 3,000 watts continuous power output, all the way down to our slim T1 Slim 10 and 12-inch subwoofer. Now, this is from our biggest and baddest to our most compact but very, very capable subwoofers. So the technology that we're going to talk about is designing for all the Rockford Fosgate subwoofers. So we utilize industry standards for quality control here. In fact, we're the first car audio company to utilize Clipple, not only in our design parameters setup, but on the actual production line. These also conform to the industry standard CTA 2031 specs. So you know that the power ratings, the specifications on these drivers are true and genuine. We're not inflating numbers. Now, just about every single Rockford Fosgate subwoofer utilizes an aluminum voice coil former. So that is the former here that the voice coil is wound on. Now, aluminum allows you to dissipate heat away from that. This is the main engine of the subwoofer, and it acts like a radiator for your car. It helps dissipate that heat away from the engine to keep the engine running cooler. Now, a lot of Rockford Fosgate speakers and subwoofers utilize what's called a vast vertical surround. Now, this is a vertically attached surround that sits inside a channel. So you'll notice it's exaggerated uplift, which allows us to grow the cone larger for a larger radiating area. It allows us to produce up to 25% more output from similar designs in the past. Also, you'll see stitched or embedded tinsel leads. Now, on all the Power Series woofer, we utilize stitched tinsel leads, and this prevents the tinsel leads from slapping up against the cone to eliminate any sort of noise. Now, the Power Series is available in the T319, again, rated at 3,000 watts continuous. We also have the T213 and the 16, rated at 2,000 and 2,500 respectively. And then down to the T1 Slim, available in 10-inch and 12-inch, 500 watt or 600 watt power handling capacity. Now, a lot of these technologies aren't just limited to the Power Series. We actually brought them down into the Punch Series. So the main difference with the Punch Series is they utilize stamp cast baskets. Now, using a cast basket like this is very expensive. So we utilize stamped steel, but not just regular stamped steel. We form the metal so that it creates a cast-like design to help reduce resonance. We also incorporate spider venting to help further cool that voice coil. Now, we have P1, P2, and P3 subwoofers, our P3 being our most popular. These feature 2.5-inch voice coils and are available from 10, 12, and 15-inch subwoofer sizes. The P2 is our bread and butter. Now, these are 2.25-inch voice coils ranging from 8s, 10s, 12s, and 15s. And then, of course, we have the P1, the perfect subwoofer for any starter. It's a 2-inch voice coil available in 10-inch and 12-inch series. Now, a lot of these technologies do roll into the Prime series as well. So you know that the Rockford Fosgate technology built in the Echelon class are going to be developed and utilized all the way down the line. As you know, Rockford Fosgate develops for performance, and these are purpose-built for car audio subwoofer standards.
Eric, I would be absolutely lying to you if I am not absolutely freaking out and like a kid looking at you talking about that monstrosity of a subwoofer. That is absolutely awesome, and it literally gets all the feels like I was 16 again. But on that topic of subwoofers, obviously, when it comes to car audio, we're looking for solutions, and when the subwoofers translate into enclosures, because enclosures are solutions. Customers are coming in, they want quick bass. And I'm sure Rockford has a bunch of different solutions when it comes to loaded enclosures.
That's right, Ben. And I'm going to be talking about the most popular in our lineup. We have Power Series, Punch, and Punch powered enclosures. The Power series, we offer a 10-inch and 12-inch in both sealed and a 10-inch in vented. Now, this is the T1 Slim woofer that we loaded into an enclosure. We also offer a Punch series, which is utilizes a port that has a high flow, low noise design. Now, it utilizes high current binding posts and 5-inch MDF board. So these are available in single and dual 10-inch and 12-inch subwoofer sizes. And of course, our most popular, we've got one right here on the screen, our Punch loaded powered enclosures. Now, these feature 12 dB internal octave crossovers, intelligent turn-on circuits, an integral phase switch so you can adjust the bass from 0 to 180 degrees. They also come with a remote Punch bass level control so that you can control the level of output right there from your dash. So these are available in powered wedge enclosures in both 10 and 12-inch sizes, what you're seeing right now. We also feature powered truck enclosures, which have the wedge on the opposite side for 10-inch and 12-inch sizes. And we have a hatchback high output 12-inch subwoofer that whops 500 watts of power into that little tiny amplifier. As you can see, Rockford Fosgate has a subwoofer enclosure regardless of whether you're driving a car, truck, or SUV. We've got one just for you.
Now, to truly round out this conversation today, Eric, Rockford Fosgate also has a rich history in speakers, and even today offers quite a few tiers for customers and dealers to choose from. So speak to us a little bit about all the great technology and features when it comes to Rockford Fosgate drivers.
That's right, Ben. Rockford Fosgate offers a good, better, best option in our speaker lineup: Prime, Punch, and Power. But before we jump in, I want to talk about industry standards. Rockford Fosgate is the first company to be certified to utilize Clipple in both the design and manufacturing of our speaker line. We also conform to CTA 2031 standards, which means the specifications that we print are true and genuine. So let's jump into the T4 6.5-inch component system. This is our flagship component system that has a 6.5-inch mid-range and a 1-inch tweeter. The mid-range features a liquid crystal polymer cone. It also features a Nomex spider. Now, just like the subwoofers, the speakers utilize a vast vertically attached surround with butyl rubber. This also features an IDHS shorting ring. Basically what that does is it sits on top of the magnet and cancels out any back EMF to reduce distortion, so you have better sounding speakers. And of course, all Rockford Fosgate Power and Punch speakers utilize aluminum voice coil formers. And again, just like the subwoofers, we're utilizing aluminum to sink that heat away as quickly as possible from the voice coil engine. Now, the tweeter is super cool on this T4. It's a 1-inch LCP dome with not only an integral phase plug, but an actual aluminum phase plug on the front of the grill itself. Now, this also utilizes DCC, or dual clamp tweeter mounting. So what this does is allows the tweeter to be mounted into the door panel so that it has consistent pressure around the perimeter of the tweeter itself. Now, the crossover supplied with this is an audiophile grade 12 dB per octave high pass and low pass Butterworth crossover. So it's a two-way system. This allows you to change the phase and also the amplitude of the tweeter. Now, this is bi-amp capable, so it allows you to use two amplifiers, one to run the tweeters and one to run the mid-range. Now, all these same great features are also in our T3 series drivers as well. I've got one right here for you. It utilizes very similar cone structure. It's just not coated in black, and it has a little bit lower power handling at 125 watts instead of 150 watts, but all the same great features. Now, the tweeter has an integral phase plug, not the aluminum one as you see on the T4. And then we jump on down to our Power series speakers. Now, they all feature polypropylene cones and Santoprene surround. So that way they're very durable and they're going to last for a very long time. And of course, again, we're utilizing aluminum voice coil formers in all the Power series speakers. Our most popular is our T2 6.5-inch with 1-inch dome tweeter. Now, this is aluminum dome tweeter assembly, so it's going to be brighter. So if you love that high output sound, the T2 6.5 inches for you. Now, we also feature a T1 series in both 6.5-inch for a Euro mount style in the mid-range basket, and the T1 6.75 inch, a traditional 6.5 inch or 6.75 inch speaker that will fit many door panels, rated at 100 watts. Now, these are treated fabric dome tweeters on both the T1s, and again, the T2 utilizes that aluminum dome. So, Power Series speakers, great product, great technology, and a really, really great speaker.
That was, of course, Eric Russell of Rockford Fosgate. I mean, is there nobody on the planet knows more about Rockford Fosgate than Eric, and we certainly appreciate having him on, sharing with us the wealth of knowledge that he has to share. Now, if you're interested in finding more about any of the products covered on today's show, I encourage you to check out the official website found at rockfordfosgate.com. And of course, if you happen to be a Canadian dealer tuning in, you probably already know that their exclusive Canadian distributor for all things Rockford Fosgate in Canada is, of course, Automobility. I happen to reach out to our man at Automobility, their product expert, Mr. Phil Camrand, and I have him in studio with us. Now, Phil, legendary brand, so many technologies, so much history, especially within this car audio category. How do you feel Canadian dealers appreciate Rockford Fosgate continuously innovating with the products that they've presented on today's show?
From my knowledge, Rockford dealers absolutely love Rockford Fosgate. They've been selling it for a long time. They love the product, and Rockford always improves their product, always innovates, always comes out with new stuff to talk about, as we just saw from Eric. And they've been one of the leaders in this category. And once a Rockford dealer, always a Rockford dealer. People love the company, people love the product, and it shows because our dealers have been selling Rockford for a very long time.
You know, Phil, I really love that statement that Rockford dealers are so committed to the brand, because this is a brand that has a long legacy. But what I love about what Eric presented today was the kind of technology as well as the extreme products that Rockford Fosgate continues to put out. I mean, I'm blown away by that subwoofer and that amplifier, and I wanted to ask if you felt the same way.
I 110% feel the same way as you. I love the product, and the more I talk about it, the more I love it. The more I interact with the product, the more I'm amazed by it, and the more I discover new stuff about it. So yes, I absolutely love it, and I think I'm probably going to try to put 2 of those big subs in my car if I have the room, but we'll see about that. But absolutely love the product.
Phil, I noted this, and I will be following up with you on your build of those 2 subwoofers in your car. We haven't checked out the specs yet of how much volume you need, but I'm sure you will find a vehicle that fits in. Now, to round this out for dealers tuning in, Rockford Fosgate is no doubt a complete line offering. We've covered Rockford in so many different categories, such as marine and power sports and motorcycle. But when it comes to car audio, it is an absolute staple. Speak to us a little bit about how much of a complete solution this truly is for Canadian retailers.
You mentioned it. It is complete. Doesn't matter if you do power sport, if you do motorcycle, if you do marine application, or if you just do car audio. They have a solution for you. Not only do they offer a product specifically for these category, they have different levels, as Eric mentioned earlier. You're looking for something for a little bit more bass, we have a box for you. You're looking for extreme SPL, as you saw earlier, we have the sub for you, the amplifiers to power it. So doesn't matter what you're looking for, Rockford has a solution for you available for whatever category you choose to go with.
I want to take this opportunity and thank both Eric Russell from Rockford Fosgate as well as Phil Camrand coming in today from Automobility. And my closing thoughts on Rockford Fosgate are as such. This is a legendary brand. It's iconic. The pedigree is undeniable. The fact that this brand continues to innovate and put out not only the base stuff that entry-level, enthusiasts can get into, but also has product at the highest level to entertain those hardcore enthusiasts out there. Phil just said it in not so many words. This is a complete line, and I think that dealers who can partner up with a brand like Rockford can take advantage of not only the multitude of products that they're coming up with, purpose-built for each category, but also the depth and breadth of the line. Rockford Fosgate continues to innovate and continues to be a major player in the car audio segment. That's it for this CMA Networks presentation brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM with over 150 channels in your vehicle. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.